The women of mobile clinic covering Isin, Ifelodun and Irekpodun is from the United States, doing a wonderful job in his fatherland in Nigeria here, in Ibomina land. As I said, as we have it on our Words of Marvel this morning, it is good to touch the lives of others, for that is the essence of life and living. It's been doing wonderfully and has been asking other people to join the train of this philanthropic gesture. You need to have much before you start somewhere. You can start with scholarship for students and things like that. Now, what is your advice to the political class and Nigerians towards getting out of the economic recession that we are presently?
Wow. Okay. I'll try to put my economic advisor hats on. We read from many. Recession is obviously a technical term.
Okay.
It just means 2 consecutive quarters of shrinking of the GDP. And recently, the finance minister has said that we are coming out of recession. Probably we've had a 1 quarter of positive GDP growth, so that technically means the recession is over. But we have a saying.
Some people are still hungry out there.
Exactly. We have a saying back in my village in the United States that says that when your neighbor loses a job, you are in a recession. When you lose a job, you are in a depression. So the government may be out of recession, but the people on the street and the day-to-day people, they are still in a depression. Because when you cannot, when mom and dad are trying to sneak out the house at 3 or 4 a.m. so that the kids will not wake up and ask them for food, money, food or whatever, then you know there's trouble in the street. To me, the key and part of the things that is driving me is to encourage many that have the resources to come back home and do the little that they can. There is no magic, especially in Kwara State and especially particularly in Kwara South, that I think the government have to do a good job of providing security. And I think the state is relatively trouble-free from that aspect, except for a few pockets here and there of new entrants into the state in terms of cultism and any other little things here and there. So I think the government should be vigilant on that. And also the government have to educate its people, because without education, it's difficult to have a sustainable future for our people. And government have to provide good health care to the people, because a sick society is a society that will eventually die off, and we do not want that for our people. And the next phase of it is obviously the government have to be able to feed these people, and that's where we're talking about the economic security of the lives. And when we talk about economic security, people need hope. They need to be able to wake in the morning and have a place to go to, such that they can earn a good living and be able to build a sustainable middle class life of some sort. Unfortunately, our middle class, especially in these states, is shrinking rapidly. Unfortunately, we are a very civil servant dependent state, and when states or local government cannot pay salaries, it affects the economic output of the state as a whole. And you have many local government teachers, suburb or whatever, getting paid 20% of their salary, 30% of their salary. Many of them have lost count of how many percentage being held for how many months. And such that if somebody says, how much does the government hold you right now? Many of them cannot calculate, because 1 month they got 26%, another month they got 40%, and they're supposed to keep track of all of this. That is not a good sustainable economic model. But we do need the private industries to step up and be able to fill in the gap, such that we slowly turn the state from a civil servant dependent state to an economic growth engine for the country. And there are many opportunities abound. Fortunately, we are blessed with fertile grounds, so there's no excuse for us not embarking on a massive scale of agriculture. Also, we have many gateways to the north, to our friends on the west side of the country. So we have both internal and external gateway that we can. So there is no reason for companies not locating their industry in Kwara State because of our easy access to almost every part of the country, whether north, south, east, or west. We have ready markets for those. That would be something of a challenge to the government to make sure that they have an enabling environment to allow companies to want to make their permanent home in the state. I think that will reverse a lot of the brain drain we're having. That will make sure most of our youths from Lagos, Abuja, Kaduna, Kano, Enugu, wherever they may be, have a reason to come back to
even those in the diaspora. There.
Exactly, especially people in the diaspora, because with a good technical, well-trained workforce, companies will have no reason to now want to relocate to the state because they have easy access to workforce that can positively impact their bottom line. Companies wants to make money, and it's our job to provide them the input and resources to help them do that while our people are fully engaged and employed within those companies.
So what advice do you have for the political class generally? No.
Well, what I will advise is anybody that God has blessed to please take a look at the political environment and see how they can lend a voice to it, because I see politics as part of the advocacy group. We have many people on the street that cannot speak for themselves. We need people of means and people that people will listen to be able to be an advocate for them and speak constructively on their behalf. And that is one area that we would like people to get involved on. Most of the issues that I've talked about today are all politics related in terms of providing the women and mobile clinic, for example. It's a gap of responsibility of the government. If the government had a very good, well-run healthcare system, there would be no need for a women and mobile clinic. If the government had a very good school system with desk, chairs, fantastic buildings, that the students do not have to study under rain or sun because the ceiling or the roof is turned off, then there will be no reason for people like myself to come in and try and see how we can renovate school buildings. Those resources cannot be turned to some form of other economic outlet where we can help the state build middle class. So when people of means are taking care of issues that the government should be taking care of, that is taking some positive economic activity out of circulation. So therefore, we have a political problem that require a political solution. So we should not all be afraid of entering into the world of politics. I know many people say politics is a dirty game and all kind of things. But in a vibrant democracy, you have to be able to sit at the table and be able to advocate for your people and be able to accrue to them what is duly and truly should be theirs. And without people doing that on their behalf, we have no way to go but down. So I will advise that many of our youth, many of our professionals that have not given politics a second look should do so, but for the right reason. Politics should be a way of serving humanity, should be a way of serving others. There's no greater calling in life than service to humanity, and that's what we should all strive to do. Many of the things that we're trying to solve, it does not matter how much money one has as a private individual, you just cannot solve many of the problems out there. So therefore, we need government to work for the people, hence the need for good governance, hence the need for a political climate that tries to take care of as many people as possible. So we have to find ways to provide a safety net so that nobody falls through the crack and suffer irreparable economic damage. Because when people are hopeless, that is not a very good feeling, and that is actually can be a very bad situation to the fabric of society.
Talking education now, should education be made a level playing ground to have a meaningful development? Do you subscribe to that view that education should be made a level playing ground for a meaningful future of our youth?
Yes, I truly believe so. Government have to provide a minimum basic level of education and make sure that our public education is well funded such that the graduates of those systems are of equal par or better than those of the private school. The parents resorting to private school, when we were growing up, we have very little need for private schools because most of our schools were well staffed, students were well taken care of, resources were there to train and educate the people. And that is truly a shame when you look at the state of our education in these days. You can go to many communities and you find dilapidated buildings and schools with lack of staff. Like I said, we are paying for teachers, for crying out loud, to staff some of these schools, and many communities are doing the same. I guess that is understandable when in the current climate, the teachers that the government hires, when they do get them hired, are not being paid. And who wants to go to that kind of system? Hey, come and get a job, but you only get 20% of your due pay as at when due, or maybe you don't get it at all for another 3 months. It's not a good system. So we are not doing what we need to do to attract the best minds to want to go into something that we all truly should believe is a foundation of an economic vibrant society. Because when we don't train our students, companies find it very hard, very, very hard to locate companies, factories and businesses in those climates, because you are lacking staff that can actually help the company succeed. Or if they do, for whatever reason, tax reasons or anything like that, they are forced to import employees from other states. We have to think about Kwara State competing vigorously with other states for these resources, and therefore we need to put ourselves in the best position to make sure that our students are well-rounded and ready for the job. And everybody does not have to go to university. Therefore, we need to look at skilled trades as an option, as an alternative, and make sure that we have world-class skill trade. I don't care what we do. We should just look for something and do it very well, and let the state be known for as a landing spot for this thing. If it's agriculture, let us be the world class and the Nigerian benchmark at it. If it's medical tourism, let us do that. If it's just general tourism like CM Museum or Patigi Regatta or any other that are bound in around the state Owu Falls, let us be the best at it. Let's just choose something and just do it very well and be known for that. That is one way that we can pull ourselves out of these doldrums and at least be known for something positive on that level.
On a lighter note now, you've been speaking, your accent is almost like American now. Can you speak? I want you to speak Igbo now and greet the people in your dialect. I hope I'm not giving you any stress with that.
Auntie for me stress, she wants me to speak in Igbo now.
Please,
I want you to. Here we go.
Okay.
Interesting. We can speak American.
No,
we can
please
speak
go ahead.
We can speak Igbo now.
Say that in
Say dada leji. Ajirebi. Amagbon ara ni ti dada o. Oloyin niya. Nkan adun, nkan ayọ̀ la mo gbọ́ látẹ̀dọ̀ ara.
Quite interesting.
Ole jamora pe. Thank you, man.
I give you a clap for that. Can you take on this your ekweda in Gomina now?
I'm like dagbona, we eat all of those, and I try to encourage the kids to come on with me and share some of those, and it's been a very good experience coming home.
And they take it too?
Yes, they do. They are very good with that, and it does not matter how many years one spend in a foreign land. Home is where home is always will be.
Yeah.
So therefore, we have to do whatever we can to make sure that our coming home is a success, and therefore we need to prepare the ground for such return. So therefore, Yoruba says, and that is what we are doing. We are doing a lot of these things, not just for ourselves, to try and help other people, but as well we are doing it for ourselves, because when the community as a whole is better, we are better off for it as well. And that means we have a climate that we are proud of. Yes, you have difficulty with roads, water, electricity, and there one is adjusting. But the desired state, our consciousness should be that why can't we have that kind of thing here? Mm-hmm. And that is what we should all be striving for, and we should never lose focus of. And we should hold our political leaders accountable to make sure that Kwara State is like any other world-class city or destination in the world. We should not be able to see a difference between Oro, Umara, or Ilorin as London, Boston, Los Angeles, California, Atlanta. We should. They are no better than us. When you put us and them together in intellectual capacity, we're of equal or even better in most cases. Yeah. Why can't we have that? Don't we deserve that? I think we deserve.
We do.
And that's something that is worth fighting for and striving for, and may God help us.
Amen.
Thank you.
If I may say finally, sir, as a youth, I want you to...
I'm a youth now?
Yeah, okay. I know. You are a youth.
I am?
I believe so.
All right.
I said I want you to talk to the youth towards imbibing a positive culture and moving away from criminality.
Thank you very much. This is a very passionate plea to our leaders, to ourselves, that unfortunately we have been a very bad example to them. We have conditioned people that the way to quick riches is to hurt each other and steal from each other, cheat each other, lie to each other. We are setting bad example. It does not matter how much we preach to our young and to our young adults and to our youths. They learn by observing. They learn by watching. They watch us. They see what we do. If we behave badly, they see it every day. Therefore, we have to hold ourselves accountable by living within our means, by living above board, by making sure that the message that we are passing on to them is consistent with our own everyday behavior. And to the youths out there, please and please and please do not, I repeat, do not resort to criminality to make yourself better. Have your own God-given talents. It's just in you to find out what it is that you are very good at, perfect it, and go out there and do it. This world is about looking for ways where you can solve problems. Find a problem out in society, find a solution to it, and try to look for ways to package that solution and sell it to other people that will need the solution. That is the best way to become self-empowered and to a way to become an entrepreneur, so to speak. We all can be business leaders in our community, but a good business person finds out what are the missing links or what are the gaps out there in terms of what problems that people are having, and look for ways to find solutions and market those solutions successfully to the people that may need them. So that is what I will implore you to do. Please stay on the straight and narrow, and God shall be your strength.
We thank our guests for coming on the program. We thank you for your time. Our guest has been a community development stakeholder and a philanthropist, a youth leader, all the way from the United States of America. Is Engineer Nurudeen Adeyemi Balogun, the initiator of Women and Mobile Clinic, covering Isin, Ifelodun, and Irekpodun local government. We thank you for coming on the program, and we would definitely like to have you again on the program. I hope you will oblige our request when next we invite you to come on the program.
Anytime you call me, I will be there by the grace of God.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time. We thank the studio hands in person of Ajara and the Mrs. Mutiat and Walang Sanusi, Koji, and other other the crew that followed the guests to the program. We have Mr. Adeyemi Balogun and other crew like that. We thank you for coming on the program. We thank our listener who are out there listening to the program. This is where we shall be drawing the curtain on this week's edition of the platform. We hope you'll be there for us next week when we'll have a fresh package of the program. My name is Jamilat Olariwaju, the anchor of today's program. We thank the executive producer in person of AAA, Alhaji Abdulateef Adebo Wali Adeji. Our producer remains Taiwo Atolagbe, and I thank Abdulhamid Alaye. I remain yours on radio, Jamilat Olariwaju, saying stay out.